morning, Sault Ste. Marie. Tim and I are back at it again for Wellness Wednesday. But Tim, our energy levels this morning were a little bit different. This is my last day. I'm getting on a plane. I'm going to see my friends down south. Tim told me he was very, very quietly, I had a night, but I want to save the story for the morning show. So you and I both are going to be listening intently to this.
Here's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So I have 3 dogs.
Oh, no.
One's name is Tippy.
Okay.
Tippy has Addison's disease.
Okay. And for the audience that doesn't know,
Addison's disease means her adrenal gland does not work properly. Your adrenal gland controls things like your electrolytes, your potassium levels, your sodium levels. All of those affect your heart and your major organs. So Tippy was diagnosed when she was 4 years old because it's not uncommon for 4-year-old female small breed dogs to have Addison's disease.
Okay.
I have a very great vet, by the way, and the moment I brought Tippy in all those years ago, she was like a little limp dish rag. She just wasn't herself. And I just knew there was something up with her, and she'd not be eating properly. And he scratched his head and said, I think I know what this might be. And sure enough, it was Addison's disease. So now, over time, we're at the point now where Tippy takes 8 pills a day to replace her adrenal gland. And she also takes a little bit of prednisone, which is a steroid. Okay. Addison's disease can be exacerbated by stress.
Yeah.
And that can drain them of the steroids that she takes in excess. Anyway.
I'm with you so far.
Okay, so far you're good. So remember how I came into work yesterday morning and said I had just had to clean up poop for about 20 minutes?
That's why when you said the story with your dog, I went, uh-oh, because I knew what happened yesterday.
And we had somebody had the runs. Well, it was Tippy. So last night, I went to give them their nighttime pills, and normally I just shake their pill bottles, and Tippy comes running because they always get treats with their pills. And she was out at the back of the yard, and the other dogs came in, and she didn't come. And I was like, I'd call, and I was like, where is she? So then I went and I looked, and she's just standing in the pool house looking at me like, hello. I was like, but pills.
Yeah.
And I had to call her, and then that was weird. So then I just noticed that she was a little bit listless, and then about maybe 1:30 in the morning, I just rolled over in bed, and she sleeps in the bed with me, and I checked on her, and she just seemed like nothing. There was no response. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, and I'm checking her little heart, and I'm checking her breathing, and I'm starting to panic.
Oh my goodness.
And I try to lift her up, and she won't stand in the bed, and her head's just drooping. I'm like, oh, okay, she's having an episode, because that's how a lot of dogs who have Addison's are diagnosed. Not until they're having what they call an Addisonian episode. Okay. And that's when things are starting to fail in their bodies. So I'm panicking.
1:30 in the morning, too, mind you.
So now I give it some time, and she's just not responding like she normally would. So I called I called Black Road Vet, my vet. And of course you get the emergency number. So I called the emergency vet, and I left crying, I'm talking to they have, what do you call that? A person that you call and...
Like an operator?
Answering service.
An answering service?
It was a late night. So the answering service lady, and she gets the information, and I explain Addisonian and da-da-da, and listless and diarrhea. And so I get a call right away from the vet that's on call. And that's the one on Tilley Road, and I forget their names, and I'm really sorry. Donna, I went to high school with. Hi, Donna. Thank you for taking care of my dog. So anyway, they say we'll meet you there. Give us till about 2:30. So I bring Tippy, but here's what happens, okay? So I'm on the phone and I'm crying, and she's listless and she won't lift her head. Bring her in. So now I'm thinking I better pack up all Tippy's information. So I get all her little vet papers and her shots and stuff, and I go to the fridge, because you have to keep her one Florinef is the stuff she takes for her Addison's. You have to keep it refrigerated.
Okay.
I don't know. I guess because there's hormones in it. So anyway, I get it out of the fridge, and I go to put it in the Ziploc bag, and it's shaky. Who comes bounding up the stairs at the sound of the pills? Tippy.
Perfectly okay after that?
Well, I didn't know what to do. So I'm like, what? You're supposed to be sick, and you're supposed to be at death's door.
Get back to the bed and be sick again.
So I didn't, and I'm thinking, well, and they'd warned me about the cost, and I'm like, I don't care how much it costs for the emergency visit.
It's my family.
It's my dog.
Right.
So then I call, so now I'm thinking, should I just cancel? I feel stupid. So I call back to the number for the answering service.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so this might have been a false alarm, and the lady says, so what are you saying? You want me to do what? And I said, I want you to Never mind. I want you to never mind because this was a silly phone call and I'm taking my dog to the vet as planned and paying whatever it costs to have her checked out because I just need to. She said, thank you. Good thing I went, folks. Now, it wasn't Addisonian, although, well, it was kind of, sort of.
Okay.
They asked me if, any vomiting, and I was like, no. Oh, when you have 3 dogs and suddenly you see like a little bit of bile here and there. Some dogs throw up, they eat grass, whatever. And there had been some about 2 days ago. So she's like, if your dog has been sick to her stomach and has had diarrhea, that is stress on a body of a dog. And stress on a body can take away the steroid and stuff, and it can make them... Oh, I did the whole opening banter on Tippy.
Opening banter on Tippy. We have 1 minute left.
Much more.
I was captivated,
though. The scoop is, though, that Tippy is absolutely fine. It was gas. She had a bad belly. They gave her some stuff that looked like peppermint toothpaste, and they had to squeeze it down her throat. She's licking. And they also gave her a little shot of some steroid as well. And Tippy, this morning, responded very well. And so everything is fine, except that I am so tired.
Yeah, he came as hi, Alex.
This is what it's like, I guess, when you're a parent and you have a young baby.
Oh my goodness, probably a lot worse though. Probably a lot less.
Way a lot worse. Way a lot worse. But anyway, thank you to the people at the animal place on Tilly Road. I forget the name, and to Donna and to the other lady who was there with me till like 3:30 in the morning.
And to Casey Security. We only have 8 seconds left before we're going to break, but we got to throw that in
and
there.
The whole show is Fringe today. You're gonna love it.
Mike, come on, Mike, what are you doing? Cut it.
Welcome back to Mornings with Luann and Tim. I am Skyping on Monday to air on Wednesday this interview with Amanda Davis from Toronto. Amanda is one of the performers coming to Sault Ste. Marie for the Fringe Festival, which begins this Thursday, the 8th, with a preview night. And Amanda's first show is August the 9th. Although we say you're Skyping from Toronto, but you just told me you're actually visiting your sister in Wawa.
Yes, I am.
Is this your first time up north?
It is. It's my first time up north, and it's so beautiful. I'm really happy to be here. It is,
and you know what? The weather is gorgeous too right now, so you're really enjoying that. Hey, so the name of your performance is Excelsior, right?
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about your background, Amanda. Are you born and raised Toronto?
I was born in Niagara, actually, in a tiny little town called Vineland. And so I danced in the Niagara region for a long time, and then I ended up going to university in Toronto.
You went to Ryerson?
Yes, I did.
Is that a 3-year dance program or a 4? I don't remember.
Pardon?
How many years is the program at Ryerson? How many years?
It's a 4-year.
Did you do the whole 4 years?
Program. Yeah.
Wow. So and now you look younger than you are. You graduated how long ago?
Almost 10 years ago, I graduated from that program in 2010.
That's crazy. How's work been going for you? I mean, is it a difficult life for you? Do you enjoy it? Are there challenges? Do you work often? What's going on?
I love it so much. There are definitely challenges, like with many art forms, yes. Pursuing that as a career. But I've been really lucky to be working very consistently since graduating from the program. And also, I think that just to be involved in the dance community in Toronto, it's like a really special place.
Do you still take classes to stay in shape? Do you teach? How is dance involved in your day-to-day life right now?
Yep, so I still take classes. There's a number of places that you can take professional contemporary drop-in classes in Toronto. Yeah. So I definitely still training, and I also teach. I work a lot in dance education, so I am dancing every day in one way or another. Fantastic.
Hey, drop a name or two. Where do you like to take classes in Toronto? Just in case anybody from Sault Ste. Marie ever moves to Toronto and wants to take contemporary classes. Name a couple of great studios.
They should definitely go to GMD. It's a great drop-in place in Cabbagetown in Toronto, run by Kenny Pearl. And there's also a really great organization called the Toronto Community Love-In, and they have a bunch of workshop series. So you can take workshops there for weeks at a time, focusing with a particular artist or choreographer.
That's very cool. Hey, when we're talking about Excelsior now, the show that you put together for the Fringe, have you done other Fringes, Amanda, in your career, or is this something new to you? Tell me.
I have done other Fringes, but never as a choreographer and performer. I've performed in the Toronto Fringe a couple of times as a dance artist and collaborator. And I was a movement coach for a theater production in Toronto Fringe a few years ago. And but this is my first time presenting my own work and dancing my own work.
Amazing. It says not only do you dance, there's a visual arts component to this performance. Am I right?
Yes. There's a set of wings that were designed by an amazing visual artist from Toronto. His name's Thomas Henry.
Mm-hmm. And so they look like they're quite large. I've seen a picture here of you. How big are these wings?
They're about 8 feet. So they're really big. He designed these wings, and they are present in the space throughout the entire duration of the performance. And then I also, they're wearable, so I interact with them and use them as
this sounds very cool. But where did you get this inspiration? Where did this come from? What?
So this piece was actually it originated about 4 years ago. I was working with a choreographer who initiated a dance and design project between her company and the Toronto School of Art. So there were a bunch of dance artists who were paired with visual artists to create different works, and I was paired with Thomas Henry. So I looked at his designs, and I really was interested in what he was doing, just the materials that he was using, because he uses all natural materials like bamboo and paper to create his designs. So we collaborated together, and this is
so let me get this straight. So when you were working on that project with Thomas, right off, was that the beginning of Excelsior, right from those?
Yes, that was the beginning of it. It started,
so how
the original was like a 7-minute piece, and now it's been expanded into a 30-minute.
Started off as a 7-minute piece. How long have you been working on this then?
On and off since that time. So for about 4 years. There's been a few different versions of this solo that have existed, but I feel like this is the most realized version of it.
That's so cool. Now, what about the spoken word music, no music? What goes along with the choreography and the visual art?
There are a bunch of different musical pieces that I am using. They're all instrumental, so there's no talking at all. The entire story is just told through movement and dance. So, but the music there's a variety of artists that I am using to create the entire score of the piece.
And what's the story? What is the message? What is the underlying theme of Excelsior?
So I would say that the theme is more of a question that I pose to the audience, and it has to do with reflection and whether or not an individual might feel that their life is defined by a series of tiny little moments that make up something bigger, or whether there's a collection of these very big defining moments that are part of their journey. And it's just about learning to trust the path that you're on and the choices that you're making and where they lead you.
It sounds fantastic. So you're performing at the Central United Stage 1.
Yes.
And I'll just give the audience a brief rundown of you're not here for very long. You're only here for the 4 days, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, right?
Yes. That's
Okay. On the 9th, your debut performance is at 6:45 p.m. On the 10th, it's 5:30. You have a matinee on the 11th at 3:15 and an evening performance at 8 p.m. on the 12th. That's all at the same Central United Stage 1. Tickets are available. For more information, the best thing, folks, to do if you're watching is to go to fringenorth.ca. You'll get the whole rundown of all the performers that are coming to town. I mean, and they're coming from all over the world, really. It is an international Fringe festival. So I encourage you to do some more research and find out more about the Fringe Festival, and go to Central United. I'm sure the tickets will be available at the door if you don't get them in advance. So Amanda, I want to wish you the best. You're coming into town in a couple days?
Yes.
So we're
I think
seeing
on
this.
Wednesday.
I'm airing this on Wednesday, so you're arriving this day that this is going to air.
Yes.
And then I'm going to see you Thursday because there is an event. What's it called?
The Fringe Preview Night.
The Fringe Preview Night. I'm going to be there. I think I'm kind of hosting it. I should learn more about that if I'm going to host it, right? So I'll get to meet you in person, and I'm looking forward to that. But in the meantime,
Me too.
thanks for taking time away from visiting your sister to talk to us about Excelsior. I don't want to say, what do you say? If you're a dancer, you say merde, don't you? You don't say break a
You
leg.
do.
But
You
it's
do,
Fringe
yeah, you
Festival,
say
so I'll
merde.
say break a leg too, Amanda.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, safe travels. We'll see you later this week. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Amanda Davis. Excelsior is the name of her production, and it is at Central United Stage 1 for Fringe Festival, August 9th through 12th. The entire Fringe Festival goes from the 8th to the 18th. We'll be back with more Mornings with Luann and Tim right after this. Welcome back to Mornings with Luann and Tim, and as you know, we are featuring performers from the Fringe North International Theatre Festival this week on the show, and next week as well. Now, joining me via Skype from the Toronto area, my old buddy Tim Progosh is with me on the show. Hi, Tim.
Hi, Tim. How are you?
I'm great. Look at you on your houseboat with the blue sky behind you. Looks beautiful down there.
Oh, it's fantastic.
You're coming back up to Sault Ste. Marie where we first met. Tim and I first met, just for the audience who doesn't know, the WTF Festival. You tell me a little bit about how that all happened with you, what your connection was. I think you were up here for a tourism event or something, and tell me.
Yeah, I met the people from Tourism Sault Ste. Marie, and they were fantastic. And I was joking with them all weekend at this conference that we should do a festival together because they're the best people I'd ever worked with. And again, I've done shows across Canada, and they said, well, sure, come up with an idea. So we brainstormed and came up with a WTF, which the first year was wonderfully terrific fun, and then this year was with the family.
Yes.
And so to do a festival at the start of the summer to bring families and people from Sault Ste. Marie and people to Sault Ste. Marie to see what great facilities and what a great festival they can run.
And were you the brainchild behind the Canadian Comedy Awards, or did you inherit that from somebody else? How did that?
Well, there was no Canadian Comedy Awards. Let me take off my glasses.
Okay.
There was no Canadian Comedy Awards, but there had been awards given out previously at another festival. But I started them in the voting mechanism, and I ran it for 17 years.
Yeah, and I mean, I was so excited because I got to meet Lou Bagoy and then K. Trevor Wilson from Letterkenny. They were the award winners of the year that we were here in the Sioux, so that was very cool.
Yeah.
You've also, tell me a little bit about your other career, Tim. I mean, as a festival producer, tell me a little bit about your background, your training, and your career that's led up to this one-man show, which is new for you.
Well, it's a long, strange trip, which is oddly enough the title of the show. But I took theater school. I took Second City classes. In my class was Mike Myers and Kevin McDonald from Kids in the Hall.
Wow.
I went back to Ottawa and tried to take what I'd learned and put it into practice and opened a comedy club. It burned down in a fire. I left to go to Toronto to seek my fame and fortune as an actor. And I've been acting professionally for 30 years. Most people remember you from your commercials, but I was in Spotlight, the Academy Award-winning movie for Best Picture a few years ago.
Yeah.
And I was in a series called The Adventures of Sinbad a long time ago.
Oh, I remember that one.
Yeah, like Xena and Hercules. I was a superhero for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
4 Gemini nominations, you.
What?
4 Gemini nominations in your career.
Yeah. I was nominated as a writer and a producer for shows. I was a TV producer for a while. But now I've got back into acting and just want to stretch a bit.
Yeah, so you've worn a lot of hats in your lifetime. Writing isn't new to you, but writing and performing a one-man show is. Tell me how this happened.
Well, I've gone through some personal changes in the last year, and I recognized one thing by talking to people and the good friends that helped me, that everybody's got a story, Tim. You've got a story, I remember meeting you, and everybody's got a story. So what I wanted to do is to create a vehicle where I could share some of my stories, and the audience could share some of its stories in a framework where everybody would feel comfortable, and hopefully it's entertaining.
Have you? So this is obviously your first outing with the Fringe, right?
A long time ago, I used to do the Fringe circuit with do sketch comedy with a troupe called 500 Miles Off Broadway. I did sketch and stand up for about 25 years, and then I haven't been on stage in a while. And recently, I took a trip to Cape Town, South Africa, and tried stand up there. And I thought by writing a one-person show, I could, branch out some of the ideas I had, but then put it into context. And every time I sat down to write, I just started thinking about all these wonderful stories and things that have happened to me. And what I've done, this is kind of unusual, is I haven't played guitar in front of people, and I love playing guitar. So I've chosen 5 songs, and I'm asking the audience to think of stories that go with those songs that they have. And then I take them on a journey, on a trip with me, a long, strange trip, where these songs are introduced. They'll get to share their stories and memories based on that song, as will I.
That is so cool. And I saw the song list. I'll just mention one because this one stands out to me. You asked for a personal story. It's Stairway to Heaven. And for me, that was like the last song of all those high school dances. And I can just remember standing there, you're searching for that girl well, I didn't have a choice back then, Tim. I had to dance with a girl. And you put your arms and you just do that whole slow dancing. So for me, Stairway to Heaven has always been memories of high school dances.
And I share one particular memory on that story, and I'm hoping the audience will share some of theirs. It's when I did the Fringe Festival circuit before, we always tried to do something where the audience felt that they were special, and because that's what a Fringe is for, is to create that feeling. So that's part of the impetus of trying to get that interactivity and a little bit of improv, so I can go with it. Like if the story is interesting, their story is more interesting than mine, I'm going to go with theirs. And I don't know what's going to happen. I might ask people out of the audience to recreate it. I might say what happened after and guess. I don't know yet.
That's part of the fun. That's part of the fun of live theater, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
go ahead.
I was just going to say, and then the other thing is there's certain concepts and things that have happened to me. I've been dating for the first time in 40 years.
Oh.
And that's an experience that I wanted to share. But the whole context is going to see my father who's dying, and trying to tell everybody that we have human nature, we all have stories, and sometimes it's good to share those, because you don't know if you're helping or hurting people, but when we all share our passions and our compassion and our empathy, I think we're a better world.
Wow. So it's semi-autobiographical. I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of laughs and maybe even some tears from the sounds of it, Tim.
Yep.
Great stuff. Listen, I look forward to seeing you. I know you'll be up in the zoo very soon. I think we're all getting together on Thursday for some sort of a preview. So I'll see you there, okay?
Okay, and we'll wing something and be entertaining the two of us.
We're co-hosting that?
That's right.
Oh my gosh. Okay, look out, Sault Ste. Marie. The two Tims are back on stage together again. Okay. All right. Listen, safe trip, my friend. We'll see you when you get up here. And I will share the information of your show dates and times with the audience after you and I say goodbye. And of course, if the audience does want more information, all they have to do is go to fringenorth.ca, and everything is on that website. So, Tim, thanks for joining us this morning.
My pleasure, and you have a wonderful day.
Same to you. We'll see you up here in Sault Ste. Marie in no time at all. Bye for now. So Tim Progosh can be seen in his one-man show for the Fringe Festival. Is called What a Long, Strange Trip It's Been. He performs at Central United Church in the basement of McDougall Hall. Show dates are August 9th, 10th, 11th, 15th, and 17th. He has both matinee and evening performances, and you can get those show times on the Fringe website. It's fringenorth.ca. We'll be back with more Mornings with Luann and Tim right after this.
Well, Tim, on this Wellness Wednesday, I want to talk about mental unwellness.
Oh.
A Susan from Canada sent an email to her friends and family 4 days before her wedding. Dear friends, it comes with great sadness that I am announcing the cancellation of the wedding. I apologize for canceling only 4 days beforehand. Unfortunately, fiance and I have broken up due to some recent and irreparable problems.
Oh, dear.
We have decided to end our relationship and not go forth with any future proceedings.
Tragic.
She continues, I specifically, and I mean specifically, asked for cash gifts. How could we have a wedding that we dreamed of without proper funding? We'd sacrificed so much and only asked each guest for $1,500. My maid of honor pledged $5,000 along with her planning services. We tearfully thanked and accepted. My ex's family offered to contribute $3,000. So a request for $1,500 from all other guests was not bleeping out of the ordinary. Like we made it clear, if you couldn't contribute, you weren't invited to our exclusive wedding. It's a once-in-a-lifetime party.
Oh my gosh.
Right? All right, they didn't send us any money. Can it? Wrap it up. Get out of here.
So her whole wedding thing was really just about the party.
Yep.
She just wanted to have a really big party and have her guests pay for it.
After sending out the invitations, only 8 guests RSVP'd with their check of $1,500. And another quote, we were bleeping livid.
Wow. I don't know that that's mentally unwell, Alex. I think that's just simply a really greedy, shallow person.
Yep.
I don't think that had anything to do with mental health. I think that woman is just
crazy.
Can't say that.
I mean, this is pretty ridiculous.
Okay, she's being ridiculous. You could say that. She's being, I don't know. I just think
When her fiancé suggested a cheap and cheerful wedding in Vegas, she apparently, quote, laughed in his face.
she's just not a nice woman. It doesn't have anything to do with her mental health. She's just not a nice lady.
Right, but this is pretty far extenuating.
Yeah,
yes.
okay. So
not to discredit anybody with a real mental illness, of course not. I would never damper that by any means. But when I read this morning, my goodness, are you kidding me?
Well, let's say this. That young man, he dodged a bullet.
Yeah. A woman claiming to be Susan's cousin confirmed she's a real person and added she was grateful she only sees her once a year. Wow. Wow. How do you do that? How do you just assume? Thank you guys so much for years.
When Keith and I finally get married, it's only going to cost you, I don't know, $750.
Oh, what a deal. Yo, where's my wallet? It's in the other room. I'll get that out.
Alex is going to... What's next? Oh, no, did you already do the news?
No, I don't think so.
That's next.
Mike, I forgot my earpiece, so I really hope it is.
The news is next with Alex Parr.
The news is next.
Don't go anywhere, and we have more Fringe coming up after that. It's a great day. Be right back. All right, so Alex, it's Wellness Wednesday, so let's talk about some health issues here.
I don't want to hear it. I heard it once already.
When you think about the dirtiest surface in your home,
I wanted to say the toilet.
you're wrong.
It's even worse.
It's your kitchen sink. There is more fecal bacteria in the kitchen than there is in the bathroom. That's from Dr. Charles Gerba, renowned germ. Oh, that's funny. His name is Gerba, and he's a germ researcher.
I was going to say that too,
University
but I'm
of
going to go back to
Arizona.
being disgusted if you don't mind.
Listen. So, kitchens are more heavily contaminated with bacteria, including fecal bacteria, than bathrooms, with the toilet seat being the least contaminated site. Because I guess your bum cheeks are actually pretty clean. The kitchen sponge, the dishcloth, and the kitchen and sink drain area are the biggest offenders of having germs, fecal matter. Don't be fooled by soaps labeled anti or antibacterial. According to experts, one of the most common misconceptions about dishwashing can be summed up in one quote: soap doesn't kill anything. I never knew this.
My whole life just flashes before my eyes.
Listen, soap
now,
is not a sanitizer. It's not intended to kill microorganisms. It doesn't kill things like salmonella or E. coli, which are the most resistant environmental conditions. So what you should do, if you're hand washing, like dishwashing is different because temperatures and stuff, and it has a sanitizer. Dish soap acts as a degreaser, so don't stop soaping. It allows food particles and fat to be removed from your dishes and cooking utensils. You want to get rid of that organic matter because that's the perfect breeding ground for bacteria. So, but not just soap. So if you're hand washing, they say, unless you're using hot water at 77 degrees to soak your dishes in after you've soaped them, you're not killing all the bacteria. Another way to do it, a tablespoon of bleach into your soaking water.
I really hope.
Now you've washed your soapy dishes. You're going to put them in water that has a tablespoon of bleach in it. That's going to kill the last of the bacteria if you don't use hot water. 2 minutes in hot water to kill the bacteria. Does the average person really need to do all of this, Alex Parr? Unless you are immunocompromised or have small children, not necessarily. If you have seniors in your home or small children under 5, yes, it's probably a good idea.
Salmonella and E. coli?
Don't use the dish towel to dry your dishes. Air drying is best. Okay, the dish towel, they said, just spreads germs. Nobody washes their dish towel enough. If it touches you, touch it with your hands. You got germs. Splashing, like from the kitchen sink, you can get like chicken stuff. And anyway,
So the main take back from today:
stand and blow dry your dishes.
Eat E. coli and salmonella because it's okay if you're not a small child, right?
No, Alex, you learn nothing from me.
I'll try again.
How about this? Let's watch another interview from the Fringe Festival that's coming up. Thursday night is the opening event with the highlights, and Friday is the actual opening of the Fringe. Here comes, Betsy and her bingo. You're going to love this interview.
Betsy and her bingo?
Oh, you don't even know. You don't even know.
In the beginning, there was nothing. And then God said, let there be bingo.
See, I was over in Canada, dears, playing bingo, and I was detained at the border, dears. Yes, they accused me of smuggling produce under my moo-moo, dears. Well, I assured them, dears, that these were the same cantaloupes I came over.
Welcome back to Mornings with Luann and Tim. It is Fringe Week here in Sault Ste. Marie. Tomorrow night is Thursday, August the 8th, and we have a preview going on downtown Sault Ste. Marie of the different artists that are coming to town. But I'm fortunate enough right now to meet the one and only Betsy Carmichael. Betsy's the star of her show, Betsy Carmichael's Bingo Palace, joining me all the way from, where are you? Buffalo, New York, Betsy.
Yes, dear, and it's a beautiful day in Buffalo, dear. I'm about to set up the sprinkler and go jumping through.
Oh, that's good. I hope the jets aren't too powerful, Betsy. Be careful now.
Oh, yes, dear.
Betsy, are you born and raised in Buffalo, New York?
I am, dear. I'm originally from Buffalo, New York, dear. My father was a bingo caller, so I'm the daughter of a bingo caller, dear. It runs in the genes.
It runs in the genes. Have you called bingo in many Fringe festivals, Betsy?
Well, I have, dear. I've called bingo all around the country, dear. I've done it in Cleveland most recently, in southern New Jersey, Pittsburgh, of course, in Buffalo, Providence, Rhode Island, Chicago, Indianapolis, and I was briefly in the USO, dear, and I used to call bingo overseas for the boys.
Betsy, is there something special about the way that you call bingo or at what goes on at Betsy Carmichael's Bingo Palace?
There is, dear. You see, what I do is I do a show that is interactive bingo.
Oh.
What that means is when people come to play bingo at my palace, dear, I teach them certain words and sayings, and they do different movements based on the numbers that are called.
What? So it's the audience becomes part of the show. Is that true then?
Absolutely. Everybody, when they walk in the door, gets a bingo board, and they're going to play several bingo games, and they must play along.
We must. And are there prizes to be won, Betsy?
Oh, of course there's prizes, dear. Those are surprises.
Now, so how long have you been doing this?
Well, dear, I've been doing this for quite a long time, but I've took my show back on the road after a long hiatus in 2015, dear. And ever since then, I've been taking bingo, spreading the word of bingo throughout the world, and I'm so happy to bring some more bingo to you Canadians up there, dear.
Now,
you have so little to live for, dear, that I have to bring bingo to make things exciting up there.
Have you been to Canada before, Betsy?
Oh, yes, dear. You see, Buffalo is right on the border, dear. So I go up to Fort Erie all the time, dear, and play bingo up there.
Do you? Well, yes. I think you're going to be surprised at how far north we are here in Sault Ste. Marie. It's going to be very interesting for you.
I was just looking at the road map, dear, and I said, can't I just helicopter in?
Now, have you ever called bingo in a church hall?
Oh, yes, dear. Very often we have church halls, school hallways, theaters, but I'm very excited to be in the church, dear. You see, I was brought up a Roman Catholic, dear, but for bingo good luck, I pray to whatever will win, dear. On my altar, on my stage, dear, I have some Hindu items and some Buddhist and some Judeo-Christian items. I have chicken bones, dear, from New Orleans. You do whatever it takes to win.
Okay, Betsy, so you're going to be in the Central United basement, which is called McDougall Hall.
Oh, I didn't even know that, dear. A nice Irishman. Oh, Scottish, dear. McDougall.
McDougall, I believe Scottish, yes. What nationality are you? What's your heritage as Carmichael?
Oh, well, Carmichael's my married name, dear. I'm a mixture of Italian and German, dear, which means one side that wants to fatten you up and hug you, and the other side that gives you potatoes and stares at you.
Betsy, where is Mr. Carmichael?
Oh, dear, Mr. Carmichael was called to that big bingo hole in the sky several years back, dear.
I'm very sorry.
But I'm not dead, so if you're looking, dear, I might be available for dinner while I'm there.
I'm looking forward to this. Okay, your performances, you're calling bingo on August the 9th at 5:45, August the 10th at 7 o'clock, and August the 11th at 12:30. Only 3 performances, so Sault Ste. Marie, you need to get out to Betsy Carmichael's Bingo Palace on those dates at those times. For more information, there's a website. It is the fringenorth.ca, and all the performances are there. Betsy, how are you traveling to Sault Ste. Marie?
Well, dear, I have the bingo mobile, dear. So we load up the entire show, and then I get in a van and I just drive through. So it should be interesting when I go through the border, dear.
Yeah. Get ready for it. Get ready.
Well, I'm hoping for a pat down, dear. And they better get under there. There's a lot of nooks and crannies.
Betsy Carmichael from Buffalo, New York. This has been an absolute pleasure. I cannot wait to see the bingo show. I will be there, Betsy Carmichael's Bingo Palace. I'll see you on Thursday here in Sault Ste. Marie.
Oh, wonderful. I look forward to seeing you, dear.
Thank you for your time, and safe travels, Betsy.
Thank you, dear. Take care.
Okay, bon voyage, bingo. We'll be back with more Mornings with Luann and Tim right after this.
We're going to give away a frozen turkey, dear. I have an autographed Betsy Carmichael. And here's a full bingo package, dear. Yes, dear, you be careful, dear, because someone may shake you in the parking lot, dear.
Alex Parr,
Timothy Murphy.
thank you very much for being my co-host for the last week and a half.
Thank you for letting me.
I didn't let you. I had no choice. It's been really fun.
Yeah.
And I know that you're going on vacation now for a few days.
Oh, right. See you later.
Enjoy yourself.
See you later.
Luann's not back till Monday, but Christina Couture is going to join me tomorrow and Friday as my co-host. We have more Fringe Festival coming up this week.
I'm back on the morning show in a couple weeks, I think.
I go on vacation the last week of August into Labor Day, and you're here to replace me then. So you can look forward to having Alex and Lou as your hosts then. But until then,
I'm not sure.
Say thank you.
All right. Oh, wait. I got to say thank you to
PC Security. I'm sorry. There are fabulous sponsors for the month.
Yeah, our greatest sponsors of all time, but I guess that's it now. Good thing we got that in there. See you next time.